Well, looks like the polar vortex is here for this week. That's today's high.
Feels like minus 42.
That's what it's going to be for this week. I guess better get up there and just start feeding cows.
Getting up, telling yourself you got to go out when it's minus 50. And then making sure you're warm enough so you don't freeze your knackers off.
And then when you get everything put on, you gotta pee. What about you, dog? You're not coming with me to the yard. He's windy.
What's up with that?
It's the breeze. Well, good morning, everyone. Dad happened to come and get me with the tractor, and that's synthetic oil, by the way. It's in the hydraulics. It's a little bit slow this morning because it's cold. He was out there pushing a bit of snow. Get her warmed up. There we go. Ah, the joys of living in the Canadian winter. So we're not going to take too many outside videos because this camera is going to just freeze right up. So I'll try to walk you through what we do on a day like today. We're going to start off by feeding a bale to the calves out there. So stay tuned. Well, we're over at the silage pile. I don't know if you can see the drifting going on or not. It's still fairly breezy out. We still got a little bit of oat silage left, and we're getting down to pretty much the last of the rye silage. So another week we'll be finished all that, and we can start on our alfalfa. Got my wagon going here. It's severely cold. Actually, I probably should pull the battery off that thing tonight. Keep it warm. Especially when it gets down to this cold. So, the rations today, I don't know if you can see all that. Actually, I do it all in 2 loads. But, going to be cranking up the silage today for the cows. Have been feeding them about 40 pounds of silage each. Today it's going to be 50. If I have to take an extra load out, so be it. I think I'm going to have to with that group of cows out west. What you got to do is stoke the stoves. That's basically what it is. Keep those cows warm. Get them out of and get them in some shelter too. So I guess let's get loaded up and get feeding. Well, I thought I would take you outside for a second here to show you, since we hook and unhook all the time, it gets to be very difficult putting these hoses that are like cables into there, because the O-rings freeze up. And it makes it very difficult to plug in. So we put these jumper hoses on when it's severely cold, run a little hydraulic oil through it to warm them up, and it warms up the innards in there, and that way you can plug your hoses in a lot nicer. I just noticed something here. Looks like my top lip here is ready to break off. It has to happen when it's minus 50. What I'm thinking I'll do for today, take these bolts off, flip it around. That way it's resting on this, which is the good stuff. When I get a chance, I'll take that off and get that remanufactured. Always something. Well, I got her flipped around. It's running a little lower, so that's going to put the front end of the wagon a little bit higher, but I don't think it's going to make a whole big bunch of difference. It'll work for today anyways, or for the next few days, but as you can see, there's what's happening. I cannot let that go any further than that. So it can ride on the bottom like that. It's just gonna, well, as you can see, there's no wear on this one, so we'll be good with that for a day or two till we get her rebuilt. Well, I found the young cows are hunkered down in this little area here, and I generally feed one full load, which is about around the 5,600 pounds-ish. I think they get about 35 and the rest goes to the yard, but since today I'm feeding more silage to the cows and probably the calves too, this is going to make too much of a load, because with this wagon here, even heaped right up, it's about 6,000, 6,200 at best. So I'm feeding 45 right now to this group. The other yard I gotta feed about 24, 25, so that's gonna be way too much. So I decided we'll just give these a load, another part load for the ones at home, and then we're gonna have to probably do 2 small loads for the cows out west. So I guess we'll just feed them right here, because their tires are out there out in the open, and I'm not going to feed them in the open today. They need to be where it's well protected. Well, we're at the water site here now where the young cows are. Checking to see, we've had some hiccups here with, of course, cloudy weather, and well, not so much now, but wind generators going there now to help charge up the batteries. For a few days there with no wind and no sun, we had to break out the generator on both places because we got 2 systems going. I'll show you there later on the other system, but anywho, I gotta pound the ice out. Whoops. A little bit of snow there from last night. Sometimes that'll be when it's this cold, you'll get that much ice. So stays pretty warm otherwise. So I guess better get my hands back in my gloves. Well, it looks like the calves just wanted to hide in the shed there, so I had to kind of draw them out. Okay, they'll come for silage now. Well, I got calves fed their silage. They'll be happy here now. They got some protection here for the winds. So, and I also got 4 pails of barley, chopped barley, in the bucket that I'll feed them now. I usually feed them a little later on just to get them used to people around. We have just incorporated the barley in the wagon, but they need some interaction with people so they don't start getting wild. So I'm kind of back to pail feeding, so get that done while we're at it, and before they go back to the shed and hide. Well, now that we got the young cows fed, the calves and the cows and bulls fed at the yard, now we're heading out west. So I decided, I don't know if you can see that, I managed to stuff 6,500 pounds in the wagon. And I actually needed more than that to feed those mature cows out there. So instead of taking 2 loads, I thought, well, I'll stuff as much as I can in the wagon. There's approximately 1,000 pounds in the bucket. We can do it all in one trip. Well, I got the other group fed. Didn't feed them too far away in the field today. There's where I dumped the silage from the bucket. And went through that while I was feeding the other stuff. Their water is just around the corner of that bluff, so you don't have to go far for water. Yeah, you should be comfy here. They look to be comfy anyways. Come back after lunch with hay. See you then. Well, it's after lunch. Dad's got the other 44 going and the shredder. The one that's usually on there, but the loader is in the shop right now getting some work done to it, so we got this one going, but he doesn't have a loader to help push snow ahead of him in case needs be, so that's why I'm here. Thought I'd keep the trail open for him since it's still blustery out. And then I've also got my little 3-bale wagon here. Anyways, you get the picture. To get my camera straight here. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Further. Yep, there we go. Oh, he's coming. Better see what the boss wants. Okay, we're back. So he's gonna go and shred those 2 bales to the young cows. It looks like he shredded some hay out here yesterday and they didn't come up to it, so. And the water system's out that way, so he was just double checking to see if I busted the ice off the trough, and you can vouch for me, we did that. So he's gonna feed those bales and we're gonna head back out that way to the bale pile and get some bales ready for him. Well, I'm just waiting for Dad to show up here. I got some bales set out. My 3 bales on the little wagon here. I just thought while I'm sitting here waiting and kind of explain how we do things, kind of allow lots of feed to the cattle, of course, in this kind of weather, because nutritional requirements, energy requirements zoom up probably 30% in this kind of conditions. So, like I was telling you before, we boost the silage up to about 50 pounds a day. That's total total weight, so there is water in that. So if you want to, those of you who want to convert it back to dry hay, take that amount and multiply it by 40%. I find that's about what it is if you were converting a silage pile to hay. And then we feed lots of this rougher stuff. As you see, it's not your choices feed. So we feed lots of that stuff. Some bales are better than others. So 50 pounds, I allow another 20 pounds of hay, this kind of hay, so 70 pounds per cow per day. I guess I'll let you guys do the math and whether that's enough, too much. This is the way we do it here in Canada, or at least this part of Canada. And I also allow for a little bit of gain on that. This is not just strictly maintenance ration, although right now probably would be just strictly maintenance ration, because it's gonna, they need all the feed they can get to keep them warm. And then with this rougher hay, we can use it for bedding. So anyways, we'll wait for Dad to come and I'll show you how we shred the bales. Let's go outside. Well, at this water site, we had to knock out about the same amount of ice, about an inch from this morning from the other one. I didn't think it was working because it was way down, but I guess the pill has kicked in, because it looks like there's still adequate power. Because if it wasn't, it'd be shutting on and off, and there'd be all the lights would be flashing, and so maybe there's adequate sun for today. Just have to keep an eye on it. We do have our other generator here ready to go in case we have to do the Tesla thing. So far so good. It's kind of in the open here, but so far this is standing up pretty good. Cows are getting a drink. Well, it's the end of the day. Loader tractors put away for the night in this, well, it's not heated, but insulated part of the machine shed / calving barn. And over here, we got the other tractor and the bale processor. In this part of the shed, it's at least out of the elements. It's not overly warm in here, but it's at least out of the elements. And they'll start a lot better. I'll plug it into the timer also. So, I guess that's what kind of day it's been. Even keep our blade tractor in here in my truck. I got the other bale processor in here because I want to do some fixing. There's a bearing that's going wonky on here. It's been doing that for a couple of years. This bearing here. Gotta take it off. Don't feel like doing that outside, so I thought I'd do it in here when I get a chance. So, that's what kind of day it's been. And you know what? We get to do it all over again tomorrow. That's the way it is when it's minus 30. So, on that note, I guess we'll call it a video. And you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, all that other fun stuff. Even if you don't like it, feel free to comment. And stay warm, and we'll see you in the next one.